What's going on, everybody? I'm back again with another video, and I'm out here in Cubao by Quezon City, and I'm gonna be walking another neighborhood right across the street of EDSA. You know, I really don't know much about it, but I've been told to check out that neighborhood. It's like near Arayat and near Boni Serrano Avenue, and I heard there's like pretty residential, some nice houses out there. So, this area is a little bit busy, but yeah, you know, I've been staying nearby the area, but I never explored the other side. So I'm trying to explore every crater of the metro part of Manila and see what's going on. So without further ado, join me. This is the busy highway EDSA. Main Avenue here. Here you can take the bus all the way throughout EDSA. If you take it to the other side, I'll take it straight to Mall of Asia. It's a good way of commuting, you know. But I wish the train would go to Mall of Asia because I feel like the train is much more faster. It only stops in Taft Avenue, and then from there you transfer to a bus. I'm gonna pass this overpassage towards the other side, you know, to see what's going on. And the weather changes a lot, you know. It's really sunny and hot right now, but you know, maybe in a bit it could start raining, who knows? So trying to go with the flow and rush to film this video. I'm gonna cross this overpassage towards the other side. I think it's the best way for me to do it. See the busy traffic jam of EDSA. It's always crazy, you know. But now I'm crossing down the overpass and I'm gonna start hitting the streets, but I think it's gonna be residential. This is the other side. Building some new condos over here that look pretty nice. And over here is North Road, so I'm gonna make my left over here and see what can I find. Like I said, I don't know much about this area, but I love exploring every crater in the Philippines, especially Manila. So let's see what can we find around here. I can tell you the heat is really kicking in. It was 102 degrees, probably the same type of weather. But then I heard back home in New York, it's the same weather here too. They're going for a heat wave. But now let's walk around here and see what can we find in this nice road. So here you got some nice houses. It kind of reminds me of the neighborhood I was exploring by Anonas. You know, it's mostly like nice houses like this. And this is just like a regular street. I might make my way throughout some of these streets later. I'm just gonna walk around here. What I like about the area, they have a lot of trees. Look at this house. It's covered with trees, so I don't know if it's an apartment complex. But it literally helps out with the weather, you know. So another nice house with gate. Look at this house here, wow. It's beautiful. And then the street starts going down the hill with the trees and everything. And once again, like many neighborhoods I've been exploring, I'm the only foreigner over here, so of course I'm gonna attract attention. But hey, I love it, you know. Like I say, Filipinos are very respectful. They don't mind where you come from as long as you respect them, you know. So as you see, it keeps going over here. So like apartment complex, I guess, for rent. Then the street should be ending one block ahead, and I would have to be forced to do a left. This is a quiet street over here. Has a dead end road. If I walk straight, it would take me towards Mariposa Street. Roughly in Spanish, it's translated like butterfly. And like I said, it's not really much movement over here, just like pretty much like a private residential unit. Just gotta be careful with the streets, you know, are a little bit tight and the cars pass by. There goes a tricycle. It's like every barangay, you know, they have like a tricycle unit that gets you, you know, anywhere you need to go. Over here, I see like a beautiful, I think it's an apartment complex. Literally looks like a castle. And I think this is Mariposa, so I'll probably walk a little bit around here. And here you're gonna admire this beautiful apartment with the trees surrounded. Let me see what happens if I do a right. Goes up the hill, but pretty well paved. This sign building, and then you walk over here. It's not much, you know, it literally looks like a high-end residential unit, like private and secure with a big gate. So it's kind of like a mix of mansion units or super private residential units. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Maya West Puerto Rico. When you go up the mountains, you get like private district like this over here. So very private. I'm not sure what this building is over here. It could look like an embassy too, but it keeps going. Kind of like a castle. And to my right is also houses, you know, were super private. They also paved the road. So, you know, not much people going on over here. I was gonna go probably towards the curve and then I'll turn back. So you can see it's just private. Because this area over here borders also like with Green Hills District. So if you walk around Green Hills District, besides the mall, it's mostly private. You can see gated community over there. So I guess this is like a little bit of the middle class area in Manila. A lot of people say that it doesn't exist. They just exist. You just gotta know where to wander around. So you see, it's all gated right here. Gated and nice designed house. So highly secure over here and safe. So don't try anything crazy. I think I'm gonna turn back and make it back towards barangay. Look at this over here. It's pretty gorgeous, right? But pretty secluded and private. Like it's nice, but I prefer barangay because it's like more action. It's walkable and convenient to get anywhere around. Like here, you just need a car to get by. I'm just gonna walk the road towards the end, Mariposa. Then it should be bordering with First Avenue. You know, literally like in orders: First Avenue, Second Avenue, Third Avenue. You know, kind of like New York, but then you know, EDSA, that major highway, it passes through. I'm gonna walk straight. Maybe I can get a better view here. This is literally like a big mansion or apartment district, but surrounded by highly secure, gated community. So you know it's super private out here. And that's like another interesting thing about Manila. I think it mostly happens around Quezon City, but even like in Makati, you know, you can end up like in a barangay where it's busy with a lot of people, then you shortcut in it, you end up like in a neighborhood like this that's just pretty residential. You know, I know because I've taken the Grab car many times, day, nighttime, and then the way I had to drive is shortcuts, and then I end up like in the middle of nowhere, or not nowhere, but a neighborhood like this. There's like a huge major contrast. I think ahead of me is the street that I was exiting. But pretty nice, you know. Shout out to my lady for recommending me to explore this area here. She's pretty familiar with some areas around the metro part. This is the street that I was coming. To see how different this street is from Mariposa. Now it does like a little curve, so I'm gonna walk ahead, and I think this is First Avenue here, and then see what's happening. I think over here the vibes, they change a little bit, you know. The good thing about this area is pretty quiet and you don't see any craziness going on like you'll see in many other neighborhoods throughout Manila. And not too many people out here. I can start seeing the buildings that would take it to Green Hills, which I made a video there if you guys want to check it out. Yeah, I would take it straight toward the mall. That's actually the Green Hills district. Don't get it confused. There's Greenfield, New Ortigas, and they got Green Hills district. So it's also like another nice area. And then they got like private developed areas with houses. But yeah, I think this is where it merged and it shortcut throughout First Avenue, and then it turns into a regular barangay. Wow, look at this. They have a basketball court here. That's crazy in the middle of the street like this. Wow. It's pretty dope. And then you got the barangay right here. Then here you see how the neighborhood literally changes. Pretty different, like a contrast. I'm sure there's a lot of great working people out here, you know. Great community and stuff, so, oh, they got a lot of carinderias out here, so here we got more. It's like a shop. It's actually Andos, and this is 2nd Avenue right here, so I'm gonna walk. Wow, how crazy how this contrast over here changes. More action happening over this way, but the streets are pretty tight. Also, another thing, the police academy is right there, so you're gonna see a lot of police officers walking, or the National Police headquarters, so I didn't want to film the area, you know, because you know how it gets. But yeah, pretty busy over here. Then there's a lot of like, or there's stores there where you can get your uniforms for the police, I guess. So I think it's called PNP, Philippine National Police, so that's really cool. Yeah, so all these places here, they have stores. There's a carinderia, a lot of local Filipinos that get their food in places like this. So then they be eating, you know, it's pretty good food and affordable. The only bad thing is that you're sitting outside in the hot weather and eat. But then you see how contrasted it is from Mariposa and this avenue over here. So I'm probably gonna walk almost every block to see what's going on. So that's another carinderia, but where would I sit if I wanted to buy food over there? There are a couple of nice units over here ahead of me. Also in reference to that basketball court in the middle of the street. Believe it or not, Philippines, you know, basketball is a really popular sport. They got the Gilas, which I think is like their major national team. And they got the famous Jordan Clarkson, he plays for Gilas. Hello, sir. Working out here, friendly people. So yeah, Jordan Clarkson plays there. I think somebody else is popular, he plays there. See how nice the people are, and then this keeps going. So if you go everywhere, you're gonna see basketball courts. You're gonna see, you know, locals playing. I haven't encountered yet people playing basketball. I would love to join them and try some hoops, even though I haven't touched a basketball in years. So I'm gonna be totally drained out of this. But here's South Road. I think the other block is North Road. That was the road that I was literally walking. So I'm gonna make it right here to see what can I find. Here's, wonder what this is, like apartment district. It looks actually pretty nice. Well, I'll tell you, the heat is literally baking and cooking out here. It's called Madison Place. Well, it's a nice unit. 2nd Avenue. Then I'm gonna make my detour over here. And this is proving me why I love it so much out here, because even if you go to, apparently, like they like to call it, a boring or non-exciting neighborhood, you see pretty much some interesting things. So I tell you, man, Metro Manila is pretty massive, even though I heard it's a little bit smaller in size than New York City, but I think between 12 to 17 million people live around here, so it's a lot of excitement going on no matter where you walk. But I have to show you this over here. Got some really tall trees over here that are pretty nice. Wow, look at this, the bottom. It looks literally like a sugar cane, but smaller. But I know it's not then. Walking under a tunnel of trees, this will help us with the hot weather that we have over here. So yeah, see? It's crazy how the streets, they be changing throughout the blocks. You could get a private residential area, you could get a street like this covered with trees. It's kind of bringing me back like Hanoi vibes. And look at this tree over here, how big it is. And then you end up in a street that's covered with concrete and busyness. But that's the beauty about the Philippines. And this over here is 4th Avenue, so literally 1 block down through EDSA. So I'm gonna walk over here, probably towards Boni Serrano to see what's going on. Then I'm probably gonna walk all the way back to Boni Serrano and enter the Cubao district. You see the high-rise buildings throughout EDSA, which is one of the busiest roads out here in the Philippines. And over here we got more going on. Nice. Look at this house. I don't know if it's abandoned, but probably not, but you see how nice and beautiful it is and gated. Over this Boni Serrano, which is a main avenue that would take you all the way towards the other side of Quezon City. Yeah, usually if you're around this area, Boni Serrano is a good way for you to get towards Eastwood City, which is another business district. It's not too big, but it's a pretty nice business district out here in Quezon City. But I tell you, like, Metro Manila is literally filled with business districts, so don't be afraid to venture around, explore what it has to offer. Mainly the because look at this house as well. Pretty nice and colorful, I like them. Green, is that violet, grape? And then this house over here is pretty nice. Here's a store where they sell everything for Philippine police, because their headquarters is right there, pretty secure area, which I pass by many times when I'm in the Grab or in the MRT. Then I think I see a heavy traffic jam through Boni Serrano. Like I say, Manila is in the top 10 cities with the worst traffic jam in the world, which I believe it. If you think it's crazy in New York, come over here to Manila so you can see. Oh, then they got Chowking over here. I just discovered this. Chowking is also like a fast food chain. It's like a mixture of Chinese and Filipino, but the food is really good. And this is Boni Serrano. This will take me straight towards EDSA. Many times I walk the other side when I'm heading towards the MRT. Now I'm right here across the street. Now I'm nearby EDSA, the major highway out here, so I'm just gonna walk towards the overpassage and show you a couple of blocks in the barangay in Cubao. And this is what you get here. Traffic jam, I mean, the best you can do is try to avoid this highway, but then you're gonna be shortcutting and detouring everywhere you go. I don't know if you can see it, there goes the MRT train. Pretty fast and efficient way to get around throughout EDSA, all the way to North Avenue and Taft Avenue. Then this is Liberty Avenue, which it goes over that way. But if you take Liberty Avenue on the other side of EDSA, it's even busier. Once you start heading between 10th Avenue and 15th Avenue, it's like a different vibe, like pretty vibrant. Like it's a local barangay, but they literally have it all. They have coffee shops, stores, restaurants, palenque, which is an area where, a lot of Filipinos go and to get, what they need, necessities for a very affordable price. So yeah, I am due to film that area, so I don't know, maybe I'll film it in the nighttime or in the sunset afternoon, because it gets pretty busy during that time. And it's pretty much super local out there. So you see how they develop all these condos and apartments. They're literally building another one over their head. It's called Deca Cubao. I'm not sure if it's fully open yet, Then they got a couple of units over here, and they're building another one. Yeah, Cubao is also like another underrated area out here, because they have Araneta City, which I made a video there 2 times if you guys want to check it out. But I might do another video over there, probably in the evening or nighttime, to show you the vibes. Also, another thing, September, Christmas starts here in the Philippines. So I'm gonna be around, September, and I heard it gets busy, the malls, the streets, everything. While in the States, it's still technically summer, transitioning to the fall season. Here they're already thinking about Christmas. I think this is the country with the longest Christmas in the whole world. And I thought it was Puerto Rico, but I heard it's actually over here. So I heard even in Christmas, you go to the malls, which I came here a few years ago, and they're already playing Christmas songs and stuff. So it's gonna be pretty interesting for me to showcase you that vibe out there. You see some of the new condo units. Over that area, that's already Cubao. So it borders with EDSA. Then we got Main Avenue over here. And there goes the MRT train. But it's always packed no matter what time you take it. Then look at the traffic jam over here. I drove here many times, and I gotta tell you, it's super stressful. Just look at the nasty traffic jam. Both sides, and then over there you see the skyscrapers of Green Hills. But now I'm just gonna cross over to the other side to see the vibes out there. So now I just enter Cubao area by the barangay, not really by Araneta, but I'm next to some of the tall condos that you guys saw by EDSA. And it's a pretty residential area over here, You got some nice houses. This is actually 5th Avenue, so tall building over here you can see. They got Uncle John, which is literally like the 7-Eleven out here in the Philippines, I guess. But a really cool district. It keeps going this way. See how tall the building is, and then the new condo they built in the back, Deca Cubao, which you can be seen from a distance far away. So yeah, super tall, high-rise apartment units that they have here in the metro. Then they have like an academy center here to my right. I think it's like a school or something where students study. This is like one of the major entrances, but I'm not really gonna cover Araneta now. I'll probably save that for another video. But I just wanted to see what were the vibes in that other side I was walking by, Must be pretty cool and pretty interesting. And I'm gonna show you some avenues over here of this barangay, which has some beautiful apartments and houses and nice trees. So I want to show you what it looks like. And here you can see Araneta Center, all these buildings. Financial district, they really got some cool malls over here. I think they got at least like 4 malls, maybe 5, which it literally connects, from one to another one. Like in this area, they have a lot of call centers, 24 hours. So don't be surprised if you walk around and you see a lot of restaurants are open 24 hours. So it serves the people who work in the call center out here. You see the busyness over here, but I'm gonna make it right and show you some of the residential streets that we got going on over here. Then once I exit that busy road, this is what you get, a nice residential, quiet street out here. The roads are pretty much well paved, but I'll show you a little bit of the view ahead of me. See how nicely paved the streets is? It's gonna get nicer a little bit more ahead, but every avenue is pretty cool to look at. Some of them are covered with trees, The sidewalk is pretty nice, so it makes it pretty walkable out here. But yeah, pretty nice area. And here you get more probably like some apartments. Well, I just found out that in the Philippines, apartments is usually like houses. If you want something like, I would say, apartment in the States, it's usually a condo. I just found that out. And we got a nice big house over here. You see more how they're developing this building out here. But it's pretty nice, and look at the sidewalks, like I say, even though a lot of people, they prefer to walk in the corner of the street, but it's pretty walkable. Then we got more in the corner. Look at this buildings over here, how nice they are. Seems like they renovated. It says for rent there in the corner, La Esquinita. Or they even have like a parking area for you to park your car. That's cool, and then look at this. I like these units over here, they look pretty nice. And the garage in the middle. But that was the end of my video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Be safe out there, everybody. God bless y'all, and peace.